Right, so I've not been here in actual ages. So we've just been gabbing before we started, and I was just telling Megan, who is back for season 3, who was on season 2. I actually don't remember what number you were. I think you were like number...
I think it was number 8, maybe,
8
from what
last
I remember.
year.
I think so.
Season 2, episode 8, roughly.
Maybe.
Megan's lashes and...
Lashes and brows.
Lashes and brows. So go back and listen to that one. But Megan's back on. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. And I'm actually so excited. Like, I'm a weirdo. But first of all, I finally got product spotlights back. So I think the last 2 episodes I never had any because I forgot. And this product is probably going to be the product for the rest of my life for a couple of reasons. The first reason being that James will not let me do any other products. And the second reason is because it is actual banging, right? So this is Crack Larder. This is James's, my partner's biz that he launched. He initially launched it last year, but it's been relaunched this year, and he is on his 3rd stock. He's sold out twice.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
Him.
So it's like herbs and spices, right? But it's not just like wee bit of oregano.
Yeah.
So like, everything's like hand blended by himself. Like I watched him do it. Hand blended everything to make different flavours. So he's got 5 flavours. This one's Highlander, which is like the most popular one. This is like earthy vibes.
Okay.
Then he's got salt and chilli, which is obviously salt and chilli, but it's like so good. Garlic herb, which is obviously delightful. And then Moroccan and barbecue. So please go on his website, check them out. He's going to watch me doing this and he'll be like, Joe, what the fuck? Oh, and then he also told me, I've got notes. I sell them on my website, but I'm also looking for stockists. So if you're a small business, get in touch and he will ship some samples out for you. So he's currently got 2 stockists, Bickett's in Barrhead and Gowan Lee Nursery, like a garden centre.
Oh, yeah.
Out near Johnson. So please buy. So welcome back, Megan. I'm so excited to have you back for season 3, back in a new studio.
Yep.
Probably so much has changed in the past year.
I know.
So it's been like over a year.
Yeah, I think it has. I think it's a year and a half.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's mad.
I know.
It's just, we were just saying that before. It's like, this year's just flown by. Like, how's it July? Like, I don't know. It's
It'll
weird.
be Christmas before we know it.
No, I don't. No, get too much to do before then. But last year when you were on, so at the end of every episode, I always ask somebody to like hype up a small business, a charity, or somebody or spotlight. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you started hyping this up, like, I don't know if you kind of thought I was going to be like,
you literally went back.
Yeah. Because I thought you were going to be like, just telling me, but also kind of, I don't know if I should want to say this sort of thing. And that's something I'm going to touch on that in a minute as well, because I think it's so sad and odd that that's still kind of a thing now. But you wanted to hype up your church, and I was like, gal, let's go. So, and because I'm also a Christian as well, I fully believe in all of that, like live my life as best as I can, and I just thought it was really important to talk about it because we're both dead young. Yeah,
it's such an odd thing to say, like a young Christian, which is such a strange thing to say, but it's really hard to come across younger Christians.
I know.
It's so strange.
It's so odd. So let's go back to the start. Like, how did you, like, because you weren't like born into it, like you touched on it last time we spoke, but tell me how you ended up going down this road.
So, like, none of my family Christian, nothing at all. I used to go to like church on like Christmas Eve with my gran, and my gran like used to think it was the funniest thing ever. Like, I don't know, like my gran's just like absolutely funny. So I used to go when I was younger, never thought anything of it, and my mum used to work like really late shifts. We used to go into like a class kind of care after school, and I hated it, and I was like, I need some way to get out of this until my mum comes and picks me up from school. They had like a Bible club in my school, and I was like, class, like I'm gonna go to that, like any way to get out of this, like after school care. I started going to that, I think I was like 7 or 8 actually, I was quite young, and I started going to that. Don't get wrong, like to begin with I was like, what a load of mumbo jumbo, like this one ear out the other, like literally. And I used to be dead embarrassed of it though, like so see when I was like going towards it after school, like people would be like, oh, where are you going? I'd like, just going to talk to a teacher, like I'd be so embarrassed to go to it. So I started going to that, and then they had like camp kind of things. So I started going to them. Once again, like still, I think I really just enjoyed the experience of like meeting friends, and like I had like a really close friend, and I was excited to see her like twice a year and like stuff like that. And then I actually like was actually like with one of the people from the place and stuff like that, and had quite a, it's kind of sad, but like had like a bad relationship with them, and also with the actual place that kind of helped me build my faith as such. And also had like quite a bad misinterpretation of like what faith was and like what God was. So I would say I was Christian, but I would never say like at that point in time that I was like, oh yeah, this is it, like this is me. And I was totally like misled into something what it should have been pretty much. And then I think in kind of COVID time, when I was like, obviously everyone was like struggling, like, like, yourself, like everyone was like this is it, like literally. Yeah. And I had like a really, really bad time with the relationship I was in. And I was like, I need help. I need out of here. Like, someone needs to come save me. And prayer was never ever my first option. Like, I never thought of being like, oh my gosh, like, God, like, help me in this moment in time. And I don't know what came over me. I was just like, I need help, like, now, or this is it. Like, I'm done.
Oh my God,
thing.
Megan.
And I prayed one night, and the next day nothing happened. And I was like, okay, boom, like, not real. Like, I was totally in my head, and I was like, nothing's real, does not matter to me. And then the following night, like during the night, I'd like woken up, like, not like sleep paralysis, but like pretty much like sleep paralysis pretty much. And I'd woken up and I'd just like had this thing that I knew like someone is there with you, and that had like this kind of like revelation, like, don't do anything, like, don't be stupid, just like focus on yourself, like, you're fine, kind of thing. I kind of took a pinch of salt, to be honest with you, at that kind of point in time, but at the same time I was like, okay, like, I wouldn't have felt that way if there wasn't a kind of reason. So it started to make me want to like pray more on different things, like, like help, like maybe like read my Bible, like pray more, stuff like that. And it really, really, really helped me. And then in that kind of moment in time, I was like, oh my gosh, why did I not realise that, like, back then that was actually God speaking to me? Like, that's so silly.
Yeah.
And then that kind of helped me get out of like a bad relationship. Obviously COVID kind of ended, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, there's obviously times where like I don't go to church for a while, and I'll go back, and then I go back. But I think it's sometimes good to like step in and out sometimes, because it helps you like build your faith every time you step back in. And like I say this all the time, like, if you step out years, like when you step back in, you're going to be 10 times stronger than what you actually are. And I think now I have a better knowledge of who God is to me than I ever knew. And I think that's a thing that people don't understand, is he's completely different to everyone. Like, you have this different knowledge of who he is compared to me, like, we think different things. So I think that's like a really important thing that kind of helped me in that kind of moment in time.
Wow, that's wild.
I know, literally.
And like, do you feel like that? I was writing my notes last night, and I was thinking to myself about, like, I've never felt, because you do walk away from it sometimes. Like, I mean, I can't say I go to church every week, because I categorically don't. Like, I don't, right? But there could be months and months and months and months go by, and like I don't. But it never in my mind do I not think, oh, this isn't real, or I don't believe in God, or like nothing changes ever for this whole. Do you feel the same way, or do you feel like it kind of?
I feel like I also, don't get me wrong, there's times that I, like, when I don't go to church and then all of a sudden I stop, I don't forget about it, but like it kind of slips to the back of my mind. But then all of a sudden something, I don't know, it could be something on my TikTok, and it's like For You page, and it's like, like something to do with God, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I better pull out my Bible. And then all of a sudden, like, that's it, that's what reconnects me there and then. So I actually feel like sometimes it actually makes me think about him even more, because I feel like he's trying to push it on me as such.
So I think like for like, because you're quite young, what age are you?
I'm only 20.
20? You're such a baby.
I know.
So I'm 33, I think. I'm a 33. I'm a 32, I'm not sure. I think I'm 33. And so we're relatively young. You're really young, but we're relatively young, and it's not really common to see or hear younger people like going to church, talking about church. And I think it's really sad that we don't, because like you coming into the podcast show last year, meeting me the first time,
but like
you would never thought that about me. I would never thought that about you.
Literally.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's not something that you really talk about, or because it's your own thing as well, but also like you really should be sharing more of the words, like we all should. And
people are so judgy though.
That's something I got to. People are so judgy. Like, what's been your key experience that comes to mind?
Oh my gosh, this is a hard one, because I've had like so many. When I actually started going out with Martin, like I had spoke to Martin about like kind of like my faith, and I said like, look, this is like a really, really important thing in my life. If this is something you're not into, goodbye, see you later, kind of thing. And I was very like open and honest with it, and he was like, no, look, like he didn't like believe, but he was like, I believe, but like I don't really know at the same time. I'd like to kind of thing it. So when I met his mum and dad, they wouldn't swear. They wouldn't like say like, oh my god. Like they were you just knew, like, you know, where you just can tell that someone's acting dead different. They would like be careful with things they were saying. Like they wouldn't. It's just like general.
They were acting.
It was that strange. And I just genuinely thought at that moment in time, this mum and dad just like really strange.
Weird.
What am I getting myself into? And I was like, this is so weird. And Martin's sister is also transgender, and so Martin didn't want to tell me because he thought I'd be really, really judgy. Because obviously it's quite a common thing that a lot of Christians are homophobic. And when I actually met his mum and dad that day, his sister came downstairs and was like, she was like dressed up and like kind of girl clothing. She'd like literally just transitioned maybe like 2 weeks prior to this, so it was all kind of new. She like had like short hair still, like she looked very masculine still at the point,
right?
And she came downstairs in like feminine clothing, and obviously I could tell Martin's mum and dad were like, oh no,
as if you were going to go,
so I was going to be like, literally. And then obviously I spoke to Martin and I was like,
it's cool, like, calm down.
What is Danny kind of thing? And he was like, please don't be angry. And I was like, why would I be angry about that? And he was like, oh, okay, like my best friend is also like transgender. And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, like
I could not care what you are, like who you love, like it does not bother me.
No,
it's like, that's so good to know.
It's honestly mad because there's this stereotype of like, oh, you're, you know, no sex for marriage, and oh, you're like you're homophobic, and oh, you're this, that, and the next thing, like, oh, you must like sit and all you do is talk about God, and all you do is read your Bible, and like you don't do anything else, you don't drink, and you don't like say bad words. No, like can't be further from the truth. Cannot be further.
I think that's like an old kind of fashion kind of thing, like the older kind of generation. Like, I mean, when I got like my first tattoo, they were all like, "Oh my gosh, how dare you mark your body?" And I was like, "Sorry, like, sorry, like stuff like that." I mean, I don't drink or anything like that, but I mean, most of the older generation like go home and they'll like have a wine after church. Like, God turned water into wine. Like,
exactly. I remember back in the day, and used to have wine at communion, but then it turned into Ribena.
Yep.
I mean, probably a good thing. Probably shouldn't be shotting wine in church in the morning, but
that and the horrid stale bread.
Yeah,
not
it's
nice.
quite nice, but I think they give us cob now, like a wee bit.
That's quite good. Ours is like a wee cup, and then it has like the bit of bread on top, and you peel the bit, and then it's like the bread.
Oh, that'll be COVID though.
Yeah,
I don't think my church does that. I'm not sure.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I don't think we do COVID things. But yeah, I think that's like one of the main things, that there needs to be kind of like a change in narrative of. But then how does the church get that across instead of being this old fogey, like old people go there because they're at the end of their life and they just want to be like go to heaven, like no, actually you can like live your whole life. So like I actually wrote some examples. I was like I want to make sure I don't forget, because like when I explained to you, when I touched on this, like when we talked about it in the podcast, when I explained to you like what my church is, it's not like Daniel in the lion's den. Oh, there was a lion, and then that no, it's like metaphor for your life. So then I was like, I'm going to write a couple of them down. So Daniel in the lion's den, so actually means like standing firm despite pressure. So like in your life, like stand firm, like no matter what's going on. Like that's the kind of message that you're getting from it, instead of just, oh, there was a lion and then he was going to get me. Like that, no, like mate, no. Or Jonah getting eaten by the whale. Right, he did get eaten by a whale, right, let's be real. But like, it's what my notes are. Sometimes we need to be swallowed by circumstances to be forced into growth. So it's like things like that where it's like how you can bring it into your real life. Like that's kind of how I take my church and like the teachings that we learn, and how you can bring all this positivity and forgiveness and like good vibes.
I know, I think people don't realise, like, same with like opening your Bible too, it's not just his words, but it's like Jesus died and he was resurrected, and there was like a stone in front of his tomb. Oh, but it's not like that. Like it's not read like that either. No. Like, don't be wrong, people read it for the story, but most of the time when you read your Bible, you take quotes out of the Bible and you what does it resonate with your life, and in that moment in time, like how does that affect you, or how are you going to take that scripture and then put it into your life? Pretty much, like, I don't think people realise it's not like you don't when you're like, right, well, I'll read that story today and that's me done.
Nice wee story.
Literally, I know.
It's like taking and implementing into your life to like give back and be the best person you can be, and that's kind of what I take from it. And I think it's difficult to get that across to a lot of people because they do just judge you and go, "You're a fake.
You're a weirdo."
Yeah. And then I've also got another quote which I want to talk about. So this is so random, actually, right? So at the weekend, right, I was like tidying out my spare room cupboard, and like I've got a box of like, you know, things you just keep like wee bits and bobs, and I found this like bit of paper, and I was like, oh my god. So like in March, my grandpa passed away, right? And he had a great life, like it was his time, whole thing. But my grandpa was like head of the family. He's the one that him and my gran moved to Barrhead in like the 60s, joined the Bourock Church, which is the church that we all go to. My mum, my aunt were there then, now me. And so I was like, I phoned my mum on the way here. I was like, when did this minister resign? Because I want to know when I got given this. And it was genuinely, must have been like 15 years ago. He gave me this bit of paper. And it was, he cut it out of like an intimation sheet, and I wasn't at church that day to give to me. And I just feel like it's so poignant for everybody. And I was like, I need to read this out. Like, don't cry. Like, something. Are you troubled about the path you have to follow? Remember, God, your Father, is leading you in love. The path he has chosen for you is the best one of all. Otherwise, he would have led you along a different one. And I was
so
like,
sweet, I love that.
I know.
That
so,
man is like a saint.
Like, he's literally watching me right now. Like, love you, Jim. But it's true. And that's like, I feel like that's something key that everybody should follow. Like, right, you're going down a path, but this is the one that you need to go down for whatever reason, because you're going to come out the other end no matter what. And even when it's a difficult path, like things going wrong in your life or like serious things, there's reason behind everything.
I always said to Martin, like, when we started when we had really bad mental health and I always struggled, and I was always like, you're going to this for a reason. Like, this might be the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your life, but you'll literally come out better than you ever were. And he's like, but like, I'm like, no, like, just trust.
And how is he now?
Trust. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Every single time I'm like, trust. And every time we go through something bad, I'm like sending him like a Bible quote, and I'm like, just read that. And he's like, okay, thanks.
Aww.
So
does he now go to the church with you?
So he comes with me, yeah. So he was actually initially really, really worried about coming. Like, Martin's got like a neck tattoo, he's got like a sleeve tattoo. Like, he just looks very like basic boy kind of thing. You could tell he used to be like a wee Ned, like running a young team kind of thing. Like, he just gives off that kind of vibe. Yeah. So he was really, really worried, and I was like, look, don't be worried at all. Like, genuinely, most people in there like have tattoos, like stuff like that. And he came and he was so worried. He's like, what do I wear in the church I go to? Like, you could literally go in your jammies and they'd like, hello. Like,
he was signing a 3-piece set.
Yeah, like. He generally thought he was ready to go to Slayers and like could grab something. And I was like, just come and joggies and a jumper. And he's like, no, I can't. And I was like, yeah, you can. He came and he literally was like, that was the best time I've ever had. Like, he was like, I thought it would be so boring. I thought I'd be like, oh my gosh, get me home. And he absolutely loved it. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he is like fully committed as such, but he like comes to events with me. Like, I go to like a lot of like events and like Mother, like Monumentum, stuff like that. I go a lot, like I used to run a lot of youth group stuff like that, and he would always come with me. And he was always very, very supportive, and he always like, he'll talk about it, especially when he's drunk. That's his kind of main time. But he always like talks about it, and he always asks me like how I feel and stuff like that. And there's always times where he like wants to go through things with me, which is nice. But I don't think he's had a revelation yet as such to like make him Christian kind of as such. So hopefully one day.
Yeah. What's Momentum?
It's like a youth kind of group as such, and it's literally a big worship night. So one of like my good friend Stephen Dow, he actually does the worship there. So that's actually how I got to know what it was. Like a big worship night, literally full of like young adults. It's honestly amazing, and there's like a bit of like kind of scripture. It's like generally not much, but it's generally just most like a worship night, and it's so nice. It's, I kid you not, there's probably like over 100 people like there, and it's so nice and so refreshing to see like younger folk who are there, and like people going with their church like groups, like churches and stuff like that. It's so nice to just like see everyone and like everyone join in
so
together.
It's like a collaboration of like multiple places
pretty much, or there's like random people just going. It's great. It's literally fantastic. They have one like pretty sure like once a month, maybe. Don't count me on that, not been in a while, but it's great. literally fantastic.
And like, how did they like market that to like get people to go that are younger? If it's a lot of younger people,
they use like Instagram and all that quite a lot. Like, and obviously, like for example, Stephen, like the one I know. I mean, he knows everyone. Like, this man is like friends with everyone. Everyone I talk to, like, yeah, I know Stephen. Like, especially in the church community. So I think like that also helped. Like, he does like he goes to camps and stuff like that. And he's leaders at camps. So I think that also helped. Like, and I think one of their kind of leaders too. He owns a cafe in Strathaven, and his cafe is pretty much like, it's a normal cafe, like Monday to Friday, but Saturday to Sunday it's kind of like a place for youth, troubled youth to come to find God. So he like, in there, he always like has things advertised, and it's such, it's great. And his story's actually like crazy. It's actually baffling, honestly. But yeah, I think they're just like really good at like getting word of mouth, kind of thing out there.
But that's so good that it's a lot of young people, because it's not that common to like see all that.
And the place that it's at is like such a dodgy area too, so it's like God. You're like
it's been so long since I've been here. My phone's on flight mode. Very sorry. It keeps vibrating. No, so I think like the younger thing is like you want more and more younger people into like religion and like church and things like that. We used to do like the summer club in our church. Yeah. Did you used to do a summer club?
No, I've never like went to like camp stuff like that. I've never been to like a summer club as such. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was, for anyone that doesn't know, who isn't from Barrhead, like 1 week, it was actually should have been last week of the school, like just when they finish up for school, from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday, Friday. And it's in the Bourock Church grounds and in the church, and it's always dead sunny. Everybody's got their wee t-shirts on, normally like a yellow t-shirt with like whatever the theme is printed on. They write their names in the back, and so like I went to as a child from like, you go from like nursery to like primary 7, I think, primary 6, and then I became a leader, and they stopped doing it at COVID, obviously, and then it's just not came back, and I'm like, oh, bring it back.
I know, I feel like that with so many different things. Like,
it's so good.
Really, like, religious. Why did COVID ruin everything?
I feel like it was kind of the people that were running it were maybe just like, oh, this is a lot. Like, maybe this was a good
kids are like point. A lot to deal with.
A lot. Like, it was like 300 kids would come. Oh, it was mental. But it's not just, oh, we'll go to summer club and we'll like sit and talk about God the whole time. Like, they play, they create things. Like, there's a theme every night, but like, it's not pure Bible bash. Like, how do I explain that?
I know. I went to a camp. I used to go like camp every single summer, and like we would go and like do water sports. I mean, like we literally, and this is like no exaggeration, we probably talked about God for maybe like 2 hours max a day.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, we went like done water sports. We went out for dinner. Like, it was such a great time, and like you were literally just having a sleepover with people, you know, and it was fab. Yeah. And like you'd also have like your kind of like devotions in the morning and night. You would go to, like, meetings as such, and it would like the word then and stuff like that, and it would also do like it was mixed between teens and like younger folk, and you would have like a younger folks kind of meeting in the afternoon and like teens, and it was great. I loved it. I mean, see, going out like doing water sports and then going out to Loch Lomond for the day, or like going shopping, it was grand. It was actually, I would do it again in a heartbeat.
And I think that helps build like confidence, helps build like relationships with other people, and like, so last week at church was like the last week of before all the school stopped. So in the church, like for Sunday school, it was all the kids were basically running the service. So they came up, and they're like, these kids are like from 1-year-old to like 10-year-old, right? They're actual children, right? And they were like talking around the whole congregation. I'm like, I would never, even now. I mean, I do this. People think I'm dead confident, but like, I would like die if I was up there having to talk. Like, I can't do that. But they were all like explaining like the things they'd done over the year, their favourite stories they'd learned, like what this meant, what that meant. They were showing all their crafts off and explaining what they all were. And then they were like, right, all the congregation used to make a wee craft, and we all had to do a thing. We had to do finger sewing, really hard. I was like, Gran,
I actually remember that from like Sunday school and church. Remember that.
And like getting everybody involved to like do it, and it was just so nice. And like, I went up the road and I said to James, I was like, it's so like seeing all these children like so confident, and like they'll have got that from being in this community and being around all of this, and they're so clever.
Oh yeah, I think like having a faith makes you like 10 times more confident than like you ever could be. Like I say this all the time, Martin, like I generally think if I did not have faith, I'd be like one of the most shyest people up, like honestly about, like, and I think because I've not been so forced into speaking sometimes, but like you'll know yourself when you go to church. You like they will like aim things at you, and you're like, you feel like you need to speak in that moment in time. Like there's been times like my pastor, like love him, he's like, right, okay, you come up and speak today. I'm like,
no.
And you can't turn him down. Like you're like, okay.
Yeah, no, okay, cool.
So I feel like things like that too has really, really like boosted my confidence, especially when I was younger too. Like I felt like they were so great. Like honestly, Sunday school teachers deserve all the praise. I know. They're great. I could be them. Could not be them.
Like coming up with all the ideas and all that. Like keeping all these children entertained for the whole time.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely
mad.
Not. Like I struggle to keep my cats entertained, never mind like children.
Like exactly. My dogs are not even entertained.
Literally. Like, I know, literally.
So do you ever like, you kind of touched a wee sort about there, but and it made me think, like, do you ever feel embarrassed, or like at what point did you stop feeling embarrassed where now you feel confident? Where was the kind of turning point?
I
felt that.
I don't think I've ever felt not embarrassed, and that's like a really
even
bad
now
thing to say. Yeah, sometimes not as much as I used to be. I think every Christian as such is always still, it's not an embarrassing thing, but I think society's made it an embarrassing thing pretty much to be, especially with social media. I mean, like I'll go through like social media, like TikTok comments about something, and like oh yeah, God's not real, you're this because like you believe this kind of thing, and you're like, and it makes you kind of feel like in a certain way. I think I just kind of see when I became like a teenager, like 14, 15, I just kind of stopped caring about it, and I was just like, whatever. Don't get me wrong, there's still times that I'm worried that people say something like in the salon, like, I mean, our playlist is huge, but I've like added like sneaky Christian songs in there, and all the, like, you know how some Christian songs aren't like, you can't really tell. No, these ones you can completely tell. Yeah. And I'm like, what someone says, like, this is going to be so embarrassing, and I'm like, I don't even know what this song is. Oh my gosh. What's this? But like no one's ever said anything, and even like when I've had clients ask like, oh, what's this song, I'll say to them, and I'll like try and speak about it, but I think you also don't want to pressure it onto someone and speak about it, so then that can also be quite embarrassing. You don't know how to like,
I know and you don't know what the reaction's going to be, and if you're going to be like, oh
she's a freak, like I'm never coming back here ever again.
I know. And I remember years ago I used to work in the Dalmeny Hotel in Barrhead, and I was working the bar, and there was a guy that worked in there who was like, I don't know, he was like 8 years older than me, but he was from church. So like he got me the job, and we were on like break one time, and it was me, him, and this other guy, and I think the other guy had like, how do you know each other? I was all like, go to church together, and this guy was like ripping in, right, and I was pure, oh no, and then the guy that was there just like completely like put him in his place, and it was like with all this information, and I was like, I'm not confident. I'm too young. I was quite young, and I was like, I can't speak back at this. Like, I don't know what to say. But then from then, it kind of made me think, I don't really care what somebody else has to say. Yeah. Like whether you're, because if you bring up with somebody, they'll go, well, you know, Adam and Eve, like, you know,
Big Bang,
how the Big Bang, like science, evolution. I'm like, I'm not stupid, right? Yeah. Obviously. But I think, well, you've got your thing. That's great. Yep. But don't pressure me, because I'm not going to pressure you.
Yeah, we went away couple of weekends ago, like Martin's grandpa's 75th birthday, whatever, and it was like a whole bunch of like Martin's dad's side and Martin's grandpa's like best friends. They were there, and I'm pretty sure this woman, like, I think sure like her dad's like Italian, like kind of Catholic-y kind of style, and one of Martin's like auntie's husbands, he's a MSP or whatever, like, you know, he like likes his politics, and I could not tell you one thing about politics. Like, I couldn't even tell you who the Prime Minister is. Genuinely. And he was like talking about, I don't know how we kind of got in the conversation about how, oh, faith is just this, and you know, this and this and this, and he was talking about Mormons, and Mormonism, I like once again have like a many opinions about, but I think everyone has like opinions about any faith, and I kind of like said my opinions on them, and I was like, oh, I think this and this and this and this and this kind of thing, and he was like, well, no. And Martin's like grandpa's best friend, she was like, I mean, Christians are just all weird. I mean, they're all like just as like this and this and this is Mormons, and they're all like freaks. And I was just like sitting at the end of the dining table, and everyone else like in that like the place knew I was Christian, and like her and like Martin's like auntie's husband just kept going and like rattling off why Christians were like freaks and like how they don't deserve to live. Like they were literally calling them like, wow, yeah. And I just was kind of like, okay, like I'm gonna go into my room, and I didn't get upset. I just kind of was like, you
just went out the situation.
Because I think nowadays also you shouldn't say things you don't know who's there. Like, I mean, you can't trust to say anything in front of people. Like, that's the thing. And obviously like Martin's grand grandpa were like, we're so sorry, and I was like, look, like it's okay.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a silly thing that like she thought it was appropriate to be like, yes, that's so bad kind of thing, and I was just like,
I know, like, why have you so much
yeah, people have no shame. Like they're very opinionated. Like that's one thing I just don't like. That's one thing that puts me off. Like not puts me off having a faith, but like pushes I think a lot of people from having a faith, or like makes you feel very embarrassed. But it's people's opinions about the faith as such.
And it's funny because see how in like other countries, like see in like America, for example, it's like God,
amen,
amen, go, amen.
Literally,
let's go to, like Kanye, he's Jesus. Like,
I mean,
shows
I love
that.
Kanye West, and he's like off. He's not. Like currently right now, especially. But then all of a sudden he's got like next like Christian music, and everyone's like Kanye. Like I'm like, what is going on?
How is it so different in Scotland?
Oh, no idea.
Than it is in all these other countries where it's like so normal and so talked about, and here everybody's like, oh,
I know.
Right.
I feel like when I go on TikTok, for example, like you see all these influencers maybe go like on their page and it's like God first, or like they'll have a quote on their bio, like they'll always have something to do with like Jesus first, and I'm like, you'll never go on a Scottish TikTok or like whatever, like a British TikTok or whatever, and you'll never see that. Like it's nothing at all. And I've never seen a Scottish influencer ever talk about God. No, ever. Not a big thing here at all. And it's so strange. It's such a weird thing.
I know. Let's bring it. Will we start influencing?
Yeah, we start influencing. Like, God is good. Amen.
God is good. In an American accent.
And if we're gonna be like,
are they alright?
Like,
literally. No, like I find it is so bizarre that it's so odd here, and it's not something that's is common. But then in saying that, when I went to uni, so there was like 6 of us that like met and we became friends and we're still friends. 50% of that group are actively religious.
Oh my gosh.
Actively go to church. Like they go to mass. They're both Catholics. I'm not, but it doesn't matter. I'm still religious. Still going. And whereas the other half aren't. But I'm like, that's quite a large percentage. Like you don't ever think, you think going that, you're like, right.
Yeah.
But they're like serious. Like it's not like a wee joke. Like it's serious.
It's so nice to see, like, because you'll see a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I'm Christian, you know, I'm Catholic or something like that, but they're actually not, like, you know, like practicing, or don't get me wrong, like obviously as I said, like there's times where like yourself and I like will go months or whatever, but these people who claim they aren't and like don't actually, but it's actually nice to see people who say they are and actually go through with the act also. It's really refreshing. It actually just makes you feel just as happy and like warm inside. I'm like, yes, I love that. Love that.
Go you. Is there anything that like you sort of live by particularly that you've kind of learned through
probably a couple of things. I'm trying to think of like kind of the main kind of one, probably the most kind of like the path like you're kind of on, like something that really kind of stuck with me, like the path you're on right now, but you're not going to always be on that path kind of thing. And I always think of like, you know, like when there's time maybe like mental health, like financial, like stuff like that. I always think like God has got your back. Like every time I've ever been like I need help, he's always been there for me in that moment in time. Like I've never ever went without, and I'm so blessed for that. But he's always had my back. Like, do you know what I mean? Like literally, it's always just literally okay, hope for the best. Hope for the best that he's there. Literally, I know.
But I think like lots of people probably have moments where something feels different, but they don't really know what it is because they don't think, oh, it's going to be God. Yeah. People think that's weird.
I think you feel like a different type of love for God when you actually become like Christian rather than Christian. Kind of, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, Sister Martin all the time, like when I was like a lukewarm Christian as such, like there was love there, but it wasn't the way I feel now when I open my Bible and I'm like, yes, like let's open this. And like sometimes, don't get me wrong, there's some days when I'm just like, I can't be bothered and I'm not going to do it, and I would rather watch Desperate Housewives. But like some days I'm like, yes, I literally can't wait, and I can't wait to sit down, and I keep going through chapters and Martin's like, can we go to bed? And I'm like, no, like I'm so intrigued. And it's like a different type of love you feel in that moment in time than like you do when you're a lukewarm Christian. Like and I don't think you realise that until you're fully in the deep end, like with it all. And it's like such a different type of love and warmth you feel, and like happiness also. Like I feel like you just feel like great all the time. Fab.
It
is fab.
And I think sometimes, so for like me when I go to church, so like for like months and months I can go by and not even think about it. And I'm like, I need to go back. And then it'll be a time when I'm feeling really overwhelmed or really like a lot going on, like burnout or like loads of things like that. And like I'll go and I'll leave and it's just like a weight's came off.
You want to cry. Like you just want to
It's
cry.
so odd. Like it's hard to explain unless you experience it because people are like, whatever. But like you just feel it, right, no, I'm cool, I can crack on. Like I feel fine.
I said to Martin, like when we kind of first went, I said to Martin, I was like, I'm a crier. And he was like, and I was like I'm being serious. Like, oh yeah, I'm greeting my eyes out. Like I feel like the American people, like honestly, I'm like this. Like I'm like, Martin, I'm a crier, and as soon as a song comes on that like one of my favourite Christian songs, I'm like like I can't help myself. And then like maybe I don't go for a while and then all of a sudden I come back and there's like one song in particular that really like is my favourite song. I've got it tattooed on me and everything. And it always comes on for some reason every time I come back, and that's me. I'm actually getting like can't stop getting.
What song is it?
It's called Great Are You Lord, and I don't know why it gets me every single time.
Oh my God.
I just started getting. Can't help myself.
No way. Mine's just Shine Jesus.
Love that.
It's a pure tune. Love. Like I guess I honestly, because we have these class.
Oh my gosh.
Routines and all that.
I miss like kids kind of bop. Like that was my stuff when I was younger, when they would be like dance moves and all that.
Oh, there's full scale dance moves. See the one last week with the Waynes? Class. They were doing all the moves. I was like that. And there's one where you go down to the ground, like jump up and all that.
Oh
my grand's like, you're right.
I like sometimes like I'm in the car, I'm kind of like nostalgia back to like Kids Bop Christian, and I'm like all this, and Martin's like, I'm driving while doing this, and Martin's just kind of sitting in the passenger seat like. Or like something he's driving and I'm like I've just got no shame, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, join in with me, come on.
I know, is that tune? I think like, is it no Glastonbury that has like a church there or something where they
seen
do
that
all
on
the
TikTok
tunes?
maybe like yesterday or something, and I was like, I need to go that.
I don't know.
I would go to that literally in a heartbeat. Literally.
Like, don't I go to the main stage? Why go to like Shine Jesus Shine?
I've been going to see Lewis Capaldi, but
yeah, no. I don't think they knew he was going to be there.
Well, I seen someone with a flag that said like, Lewis, we missed you. That's what kind of intrigued me. Like, why? How does that person know? And it was like him with the towel on his head, you know, like with his glasses, that kind of iconic. One. So I was like,
it wasn't on the actual lineup. It was like
I think it was maybe like a surprise kind of. But I think people kind of like started to click. I think they kind of like leaked it and like kind of hint dropped and stuff like that. So
the national treasures.
Like I know his concert. I think like PCA opens like Thursday or something.
For what, Hydro?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's only the O2. I've got O2 priority, so I'll be like, ching, Thursday morning.
O2.
Can't wait.
When is it?
I think it's next Thursday. What's it, Thursday?
When actually is the...
I think it's September. Quite close. I know he just like put it on everyone. He was like, right guys, I'm actually coming back. 2 months time. Season.
Oh my God, I see that.
Literally, I think I seen it on Facebook. You know how everyone like you can click that interest. I just tagged Martin and I was like, we are going.
Oh, I've got also priority. I'm going to look at that later on.
Literally.
See what's happening.
Can't wait. Can't bloody wait.
No, I need to go. Me and June were talking about that. Like, we went to see Lewis Capaldi at Hydro just before COVID. Steve News literally like a week before lockdown or something like that.
Yep.
And there was all these like mad signs up, like wash hands with them, and this is weird. And then like COVID.
And then all of us were like, oh well, just
we probably should have went to that. Probably coming from it.
He was at Transils like a couple of years ago, and we actually sold our ticket like maybe like 2 weeks before because we got like a last minute flight to Greece. Like, so we were wrong, I'd prefer Greece.
Oh yeah,
but we were
definitely.
so sad because it was like such a sad concert because obviously he had like his mum with his like texts and stuff like that, and he like was crying, and I was like, oh my heart. He just wanted to cuddle him. Like I just think he just looked so sweet.
But it was seeing the comparison, like he put up like a comparison of when he was at Glastonbury before and he was like doing all the texts, and he was like,
I seen that, and
he just looked done in, and then now and he just looks great.
Yeah, I seen them like a thing. I was on his TikTok or Instagram or something, and he was like kind of showing like when he was away and like his mum helping him with like his texts and like on the dining table, and he was like obviously having his moments, and I was like, that actually breaks my heart. Like that man is like a national treasure. He does not deserve that. Like
somebody fix him.
Literally, I need him and I hold him back now, or like I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Like literally,
he needs to be.
Literally.
I came to church and did Shine Jesus.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'd go. I'd literally bring everyone just for him. Like, you need to come and see Lewis Capaldi sing. Shine Jesus Shine. Like honestly, everyone's like, okay, see you there.
So you said your church is it the one next to the lane?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called?
The Refuge Church.
Refuge Church.
Why did I totally forget that there? That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. We'll cut that. Refuge Church. And has that been there for long?
So it actually used to be called, it used to be another name, and it was my pastor's mum and dad who used to own it actually. So my pastor's dad used to be like evangelist, like on the kind of streets of Paisley. And yeah, him and his mum opened up, like his mum and dad opened up this church. But just because of COVID, and I think like it was like kind of like aimed at kind of more older kind of folk, and obviously people had passed away and stuff like that, so it started like lower numbers, so they eventually like closed it down and never ever sold it. So my church would be called UIC, and it was owned by like a different couple from South Africa, and they used to kind of move it about. It used to be in like the Refuge Sports Centre and stuff like that. Like it was literally everywhere. They just like wanted to have somewhere to like build a church community, and then eventually like my pastor now he kind of took over it and stuff. He went for years and stuff, so it wasn't as though he just like walked in one day and was like, "It's mine, give." But obviously, yeah, his mum and dad owned that, so he got it from his mum and dad, and that was literally that. It's great. It's not great like if you're going there on like a Saturday night or something, and then everyone's like outside in the lane, but yeah, it's great. It's a good location. It's like centre Paisley. Yeah. Like I think Paisley really, really struggles and lacks that too. Like especially now, like it lacks everything, but churches are like the biggest thing, because I think that's one of the only kind of churches in Paisley.
Really?
Yeah, because all like are closed or they're kind of like national treasures now. So I think that's one of the 3 or 4 I'm pretty sure now, which is really crazy to say for Paisley because it's also such a big town.
Exactly. It's like the big one that's now the wedding venue, Coates, that was a church, not anymore. Wedding venue. And then
the Abbey's obviously not anything anymore. That's just like a historical kind of venue.
Building. And then what's the one across from with Paisley Canal?
I have no idea.
There's one there, but I don't know if it exists. And then there's one further up Neilston Road. I don't know.
I know the one you're talking about, Neilston Road. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's only like but there's none like. Well, that's so actually I was in Paisley the other month, and I was like kind of walking down the high street, like down where the Argos and that used to be, and I actually seen like 2 churches up in buildings, like one just above where the Argos was, like I think it's called Life Church or something, and there was like another one, and it was a Sunday morning obviously, and I could hear them all singing, and I was this is great, like I love this. Look, there was like people walking down the street, like, but I was like walking down the streets of Paisley like that Sunday morning. I think I was gonna get like a Greg's or something like that. Yeah, but it was just so nice to hear, like it's so fresh to like hear people, and it's nice to see like Paisley.
Yeah, like with everything that's going on like in the world, you know, it's wild just now. Like everything that's going on is just absolutely batshit, right? And it's nice for people to come together, to just for themselves and like to build that community and just talk to other people essentially. And
even
like
not for that, just like it's nice just having like people around you. Like I think that's why a lot of people do go, is like a community of safe people as such. Like, and I find that people who maybe are in a space where they're not safe go there because they want to feel safe too. Like I think that's something that churches have always brought in, is like maybe like, you know, homeless people, drug addicts, stuff like that, and it's a great space for them. So it's a good opportunity for
people. It is. And I think like with Church of Scotland in particular, like it's not like the Catholic Church where they're balling, right? Catholic Church is minted, right?
Yep.
Church of Scotland isn't. And so like with my church, so it was I believe 2013, I believe, but correct if I'm wrong, if anybody's listening, is when so the way my church is set up, you get baptised, christened into the church, but you are not essentially a member unless you go through like I'm going to use the word confirmation, but it's not Catholic, right? But you go through like a confirmation to become a member, to be able to vote in things and just to be more included. You've got more of a say essentially. And so at that point in time, the minister whose name was on this bit of paper that I read out earlier, she left. She was the best minister. Like Maureen, shout out. Like honestly, miss you so much. She was the best. So she left, and it kind of left us in limbo because there wasn't many ministers about. And then in Barrhead, I think there was 5 churches. Now there's 2.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realise it was
because they shut them down due to lack of funding, because there wasn't enough ministers, and our church was fighting to be able to get kept open. Like, well, sort something, like we'll get a minister in, like we'll do something. They were like fighting. So like at that time when I did the confirmation, I wanted to be able to vote a minister in, because we really didn't have a choice. Like you had to get a minister in, or else they were shutting you down. There was like a deadline or something. And so we did that, but like even now there's chat of like we don't know if it's going to stay open, like and amalgamate them all together. Well, the two that's left, amalgamate them together and just have one. And it's just so sad, like how that's happening, like because there's just not as much people that go, there's not as much funding, like, and it's just like, how do you change that?
I find recently too that it's like it's not as busy as everything used to be. Like even like, for example, like I don't know about your church, but my church do like a donations kind of box as such. Obviously it's not like obliged, but if you can help out, it's great. And that was for them to buy the church off of his mum, but like they put a lot of their own funds into the church, like everything, like, you know, like my pastor and his wife and like all that make, like even like being a member of the church too, like we put our own funds into the church, which is such a sad thing. Like you shouldn't need to do that. Like it's so sad that churches feel the need to do that now, and it's such like a declining thing when it shouldn't. It should be like going up and up and up and up, and like more people should be coming, and like more money it should be put into things like this, because there's such like a safe space for people like you and me. Like we go on a Sunday and we're like, this is it, like, this is my Sunday complete, like literally. I think more things should put into like churches and stuff like that, more ministers too, that'd be great. But
I know when I said to my gran, I can't remember why she said it, I can't remember why, but it's literally Sunday, they were sitting, the church was about to start, and she just sort of said something, and I went, do you think I could be a minister? And she went, no. I went, I alright, gran. She's like, no way.
No. I know.
It's like rude, I could be. Watch me go.
I know, I don't think I could be out.
Oh no, I definitely couldn't be, right?
Not at
but
all.
I was like, rude, gran.
I might just try.
Yeah, like I got there and
no.
do a sermon.
I stutter too much when I speak. Like I'd be like, people would be looking at me like, and I'd also like how it was something dead funny. Like I feel like I'm too Gen Z for that.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
I say like what the hell and stuff like
oh,
that.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd swear, and they'd be like, you're gonna leave, and I'd be like, okay.
I'd like, right, what's someone doing this Saturday night?
Maybe that's what you need. Maybe Gen Z.
I know.
And like say things and get people in.
I don't know if you see the TikToks and it's like Gen Z in like 60 years time, they're in the care home when they're all like, like TikTok trends. That's gonna be me. That is literally gonna be. See the things I say, I'm like, that's so embarrassing. Like, why am I saying that? I can't believe I'm saying that. But that is literally, that'd be me. I just can't help myself at all. Literally. Even like the younger thing, like my sister's 15 and she says like skip the toilet and all that, and I'm randomly at the house going like skip the toilet, and I'm like, no, because I would say that in public. Like I can't help myself.
No, but there's too many new words now. I don't know what they mean.
Oh yeah.
Far too many words.
I don't know what it means. I'm just saying it because my sister thinks it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you can't just make up words. Like,
oh yeah.
There's a dictionary.
Oh yeah, literally. But like we had things too when we were younger though.
Did we though?
Like yeah, we did. Like
we were 20, so to you probably.
But like, remember like Gummy Bear song? How obnoxious is that? But we thought it was absolutely
I don't know what that is.
Like the Gummy Bear song.
I don't know
like the wee Gummy Bear.
No.
What are you talking about? You need to go
Sing
home.
it.
No, I'm not singing it.
Send me the link.
You need to go home. You'll know it. You'll literally know
think I do.
You need to go home and
First, you know what that is? I don't know what that is.
Like, yeah, that one.
No, honestly. What?
You need to go home and like.
Right, but I was 13 when you were born, Megan. So,
right,
like,
but like,
I was going into my teenage years.
But like, you would still know this song. I'm trying to think of other things that are like very much. I can't think of it, but that one in particular kind of like sticks out to me.
Okay, I'll Google it now.
That was like a weird thing.
If you know what Meg's talking about, comment below.
Everyone else is going to know, and they're going to be like, "You're a freak."
Yeah,
like,
no,
how did you not know that?
I'm pure old now. I don't know anything. Okay, well, we're at the end of the podcast. It's happened. It's rapid again every time. Obviously you've done this before, so you might not have MD to hype up, but if you've got MD to hype up, now's your time to shine. Let's do it.
Think of people. I didn't even think of this. I totally forgot you did this, so I should have like
should have prepared.
Probably just the girl in the like the girls in the salon with me, like just hype them up. Diana, Stephanie, Sky, love them. I literally would not go to work if it wasn't for them, because need some entertainment.
You still in Mirren Court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mirren Court 3 now rather than Mirren Court 1.
Oh, did you move?
Yeah, just because it's bigger.
Bigger
And better. Stuff like that. So got a couple more girls in with us. So
yeah, pitch what you're up to, 'cause we've not really talked about what you've been doing.
Just lashes, brows, lash lifts. I do a lot of training, especially like lash lifts, brow lamb, stuff like that. But I still do like eyelash extension training, stuff like that. Yeah, just kind of been hustling away kind of thing. We're looking for like new premises and stuff like that. It's like next or anything, like our kind of forever premises. Right. But what a hassle.
Bigger again.
Yeah, what a hassle. What an absolute hassle. So I don't know what made my mind like told me it was going to be dead cheap and easy, but it's obviously not dead cheap and easy.
No,
like
it's dead hard and dear.
Yeah, yep. So let's hope for the best for that.
See, to be honest though, like partly because we're running out of time, but like, see when St James shut down, hundreds of businesses had to find locations.
Oh, that was crazy.
That's like there's now nothing because like, there's so many small businesses. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that was when that happened. That was absolutely baffling. Like I think you got like 3 weeks notice or something.
Oh, hardly in.
It was crazy.
And like there was somebody that had just fitted out the whole place, floored and all that.
I heard about that. Why would you let them? Because I'm pretty sure
they
from
did
what
know.
I heard they knew
did.
for about 2 years. Like I think I spoke to Brianna and she was like, "Oh yeah, so and so knew," and I was like, "So I'd be like, give my money back, like." Because I mean, flooring and like wallpaper and all is not cheap, and I'm pretty sure she got like a sink basin and like plumbing for a sink basin for here just about $1,000.
Yeah,
I'd be like, give my money back.
Yeah,
like either that or you rip the water out with the wall and bring it with me. Like no, absolutely not. That's absolutely shocking.
It's shocking.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like there's now even less places to rent because they all need new spaces.
And I feel like small businesses are such a big thing now. Like everyone does it. Like,
everybody's got a small business.
Oh yeah, like everyone does like beauty or like content or like you know, you name it. Everyone is doing something right now. Go for that. Like good for them. But like, up at me. Let me find somewhere. It's not that hard.
You will soon.
I know.
Listen, it will happen.
I know. Literally, it will happen.
It will happen. On the right path.
Exactly.
Oh, I love this so much. This has been so fun. Right, I'm going to tag your church. I'm going to follow Steve and I'm following up there.
Oh yeah.
I want to like come to this next time.
Yep.
Like I need to be all involved in this. And this was a bit of a different kind of podcast because normally we've got a small business or it's not really a charity. A church isn't a charity, but it's something different. So, please, if it's something that you're interested in and you're like, this is weird, or I really want to learn more, or this is not something that I've ever spoken about, like reach out to us.
Yeah.
Like send us a message. We'll talk to you. We'll like.
I love a good voice note. So good luck.
Yeah.
And like, up their voice notes to 5 minutes now. So good luck.
Good luck. And like with Megan being so open about her journey and how you like got really into it, and I think there could be other people out there that's in a similar mindset. So if you are like, please don't feel like you don't have hope because there's lots of ways to help. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and everybody listen, share, subscribe, and share the hype, tell the world. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.